Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We are continuing to follow breaking news at the Oneida Casino in Ashwaubenon and have confirmed new details just minutes ago. Action 2 News just confirming a suspect is in custody tonight after an active shooter situation at the casino where multiple police agencies responded. We have team coverage tonight from the scene, but first, here's what we know so far. Witnesses telling us there were multiple gunshots inside the casino. Authorities quickly blocked off the highway in both directions. Several people inside the casino as well, running or barricading themselves inside for safety. We are also standing by to take a live media briefing by law enforcement. It's expected to start any moment now. We will bring you that live in its entirety once it begins. It doesn't look like it's beginning right now. So first, let's head over live to Emily Matesic. She got to the scene within minutes of the call. Emily, what did you see as you were pulling up and who did you talk to?
Yeah, Brittany, obviously a very chaotic scene here this evening. Law enforcement had the area around the casino completely blocked off. And as you reported, the shooter is in custody. Now, we did talk with several people as they were evacuating the area. These people were both in the casino and in the hotel portion of the property. Witnesses tell us the shooting started in the restaurant of the Radisson Hotel. The Radisson is attached to the casino. I spoke with a man who was eating dinner in the restaurant when he heard one shot before taking cover and then evacuating. Once outside, witnesses tell me they heard another shot. Police were converging on the area at that point when one woman told me she saw law enforcement running into the parking ramp area of the casino. Not only did those law enforcement officers have their guns drawn, but this woman told me that she saw and she heard them firing their weapons. Take a listen to what several witnesses told us they saw and heard tonight.
In the Radisson at the Ducks Creek. Our team's out here. We're supposed to be playing the Green Bay Blizzard tomorrow afternoon. So we're just having our team dinner, and food was about to come by, and then we just heard a shot, and then I heard another one, and then I just seen one of the chefs, this body just dropped to the floor, and then we all just dropped to the ground and just trying to get to rescue as quickly as possible.
So we were sitting in the casino, and it came over a loudspeaker that we had to evacuate, and we literally thought it was a joke because we didn't hear anything. We thought there was maybe a small fire, so we got in an argument with the dealer to pay us out for what she owed us from the prior hand. We get shuttled outside, we walk outside, and we're still joking around about it, and then all of a sudden we hear a massive flurry of gunshots.
Wide open, like 30, it's crazy.
20 to 30 gunshots for sure.
Obviously, again, very chaotic scene for the people who were inside the casino and inside the hotel and restaurant this evening. They told us it was very scary, very unnerving. They weren't exactly sure what was going on and weren't sure what was going on. The man that I spoke with that was inside the restaurant, he said once they were outside, they were all kind of hanging around outside the restaurant when they saw who they believed to be another chef from inside take a swing at somebody. At that point, they said that somebody that the chef took a swing at took a gun out and fired another shot, and that's when police started to converge on the area, chasing somebody into the parking ramp area of the casino. That's when they heard those 20 to 30 shots ring out. Area completely blocked off. Actually saw a woman who was trying to get to her husband who was flying in at the airport. That area is completely blocked off too. Lots of investigators out here, lots of police. Saw multiple fire departments here, multiple ambulances. We saw Eagle 3 flying overhead at one point as well tonight. Again, lots to look into here. Still waiting on that briefing from law enforcement, but for now, we're live in Ashwaubenon. Emily Matesic, Action 2 News.
So, Brittany, let's start with you about what we learned from investigators today.
Sure, Chris, and I want to start with the Green Bay Police Department. They were the ones that were involved in the officer-involved shooting and killing the suspect. There are 3 officers that are on paid administrative leave, and that is normal for protocol when this situation happens. Now, going back to the gunman, his name is Bruce Pofel. Like you said, he is an ex-employee. He used to be the food and beverage manager for the restaurant inside the Radisson. And on Saturday night, they said that he walked in directly way to the kitchen. He went back to like a waitress area in the back of the kitchen. That's when he pulled out a 9mm handgun and shot 2 of the employees at close range. After that, he walked out of the complex, and that's where he shot a 3rd employee outside, and then he was, of course, shot and killed by Green Bay police. The sheriff did not have a motive to give us today. They are still working on that, but we do know that he was fired. We don't know why he was fired, but we also do know that he was prohibited from going back to the restaurant or back on that property. And if he did, employees of the restaurant were told to contact police, but that's as far as police went with us today.
All right, so let's bring in Sarah Thompson. What have we learned about the suspect today, Sarah? Because there's been a lot of investigation into him.
Exactly, and that what Brittany was just mentioning about not having the motive, not knowing exactly who he was targeting there, that's still the big question. So what we did today, we went searching through court records and online public searches trying to find information out about this. I did find out that it looks like Pofel has lived and worked mostly in the hospitality industry all over the country, doing jobs similar to what he appeared to be doing here at the Duck Creek restaurant, and has moved around the country a lot, and had very little law enforcement contact except for a speeding ticket, except for in the last few months. And I found that there were some municipal citations where he received for harassment. There also was a restraining order listed or filed against him, I should say, in March, and that was by someone who lists Pofel as a former supervisor, so someone that he would have worked with at Duck Creek, and saying that there was concern of stalking. And so that restraining order giving us an idea, but we still don't know if that's what the motive was or what connection that was, but we did find that information out this afternoon. All
right, so Brittany, how does that information kind of dovetail with what you heard from investigators today? Because there were a lot of people there that night. There could have been, this could have been much worse than it was, and it was plenty bad enough already.
Right, so the connections that Sarah uncovered today really relates to here. I mean, this is a huge complex here. You've got the hotel, you've got, of course, the casino, you've got a huge conference center. There's actually a wedding that was taking place Saturday night here. And then, of course, you have the restaurant. And so the Sheriff Delane said that there were hundreds of people here, and they were all scared and running. And so to know that this person went straight to the restaurant, to the kitchen, ended up shooting 3 employees, kind of leads to that targeted event.
I wasn't worried about us taking care of the situation yet. I was more concerned about, I hope we can stop him before he hurts multiple people. That's the first thing that went through my mind is I hope they stop him before he can hurt, even more people.
When Brown County Sheriff's Captain Dan Sandberg received the phone call Saturday night telling him there was an active shooter, his first thought went to the people inside, knowing it would be a big crowd in an even bigger, spaced-out venue. And while he worried about the officers running toward the gunfire, he had confidence they would act quickly and stop the threat. It's what they've trained for countless times for years.
Those are the ones that are going in there and taking care of it, and they just did exactly what their training taught them to do.
Since 2013, agencies across Brown County have been training together to drop what they're doing when the call comes in and just go. When they arrive, rank and agency don't matter. Stopping the shooting, then stopping the bleeding become their priority. Sandberg says that happened and made all the difference.
They're dumping their egos and allowing people that have that knowledge to take charge, and that's a good thing in law enforcement nowadays.
Law enforcement have been training how to become medics, too, when it's not yet safe enough for rescue crews to move into a scene. That was the case Saturday night. As soon as officers arrived, they started moving toward the restaurant in teams, knowing there were people who needed help.
We had at least 3 or 4 officers that were performing CPR and for extended time because we had to make sure the scene was secure to bring the rescue task force in and organize that unit.
Well, the initial response went as planned. Sandberg says there's always room for improvement, and that may come from the management and command side, like more training and planning to deal with the crowds of people who witnessed the incident unfolding.
Now, what do you do with all the citizens that are stranded inside the building, outside the building? We had a lot of older people that had medical conditions or inability to really walk very far and stuff like that. that all really complicated the problem for us on Saturday night.
Law enforcement agencies will soon gather to carefully review their response and suggest additional training needs, but hoping to never put them to use. Sarah Thompson, Action 2 News, Brown County.
Family of the restaurant employee who survived being shot at the Oneida Casino complex in Ashwaubenon over the weekend says he has a long road of recovery ahead. Sister of Dan Mulligan said he had surgery today. Mulligan worked at the Duck Creek Kitchen and Bar with Jacob Bartle and Ian Simpson, who died in that attack. Now, this morning, a tobacco burning ceremony was held for employees after the trauma of Saturday's shooting. In a First Alert update, Joshua Peguero was there as members of the United Nations hope this traditional ceremony can help everyone heal.
Every one of you.
A somber mood this morning as dozens gathered outside the Radisson Hotel to honor the victims of Saturday's deadly attack. It was the Oneida Nation's second tobacco burning ceremony this week, hoping it helps employees move forward.
We wanted to make sure we're taking a balanced approach to, all of our employees and our community as well, making sure we're taking care of that physical health, that emotional health, and that spiritual health.
He was always smiling. Now he's trying to help people, no matter what.
Jacob Bartel was a son, an older brother, and an uncle. But his younger brother, Kevin, says most importantly, he was the kindest and most caring individual.
If anything was ever wrong, or if you were going through a stressful time period, he would always just try to cheer you up and say something like, well, it can't get any worse, can it? It can only go up from here.
Kevin says it wasn't until Jacob's funeral on Saturday that the family saw how many other people in the community felt the same way.
Just shows that he was selfless and very likable. I don't think he had a mean bone in his body. After the funeral, it definitely seems more real after seeing his body. And then also the smudging and tobacco burning ceremony at the Oneida Casino really helped too.
Jacob was a waiter at the Radisson for 14 years, and Kevin says he loved his job there and touched the lives of many before he was killed.
Everyone from the Radisson that was there that said that he was literally the nicest person they ever met and would do anything to help them.
Kevin says Jacob always wanted kids of his own, but loved being an uncle to Kevin's two sons.
Jake mentioned him a few times at Christmas or at Thanksgiving. He said Bruce made everybody's life miserable. Said he was never nice.
Kevin has helped start a GoFundMe page to support his family and to help pay for memorial services. We have a link at WBAY.com.
For the first time, we're seeing police body cam video of the moment Oneida Casino complex shooter Bruce Pofol was confronted by officers near the parking ramp as he was attempting to leave.
Tell them they're going north!
You can hear officers giving commands before firing.
Put it down! Put it down!
Afterwards, officers continue to give commands, not knowing Pofol's condition as he laid on the ground.
Give him commands! Bruce! Get your hands out like an airplane! Do it now! Empty your hands!
According to a 129-page report released by the Brown County Sheriff's Department, Pofol had been harassing and stalking a woman who he hired to work at the Duck Creek Kitchen and Bar. One of the men Pofol shot, Ian Simpson, was a chef at the restaurant and had been dating the harassment victim. The woman told investigators, "I know he was upset about losing his job, and I know he had animosity towards Ian. In talking with my co-workers, I believe Ian was Bruce's target. I believe that Jacob may have just been too close to Ian." The report also indicates that the harassment victim was granted a restraining order in March and a month later discovered a GPS tracking device that was placed on a truck in the casino's parking ramp. Surveillance video obtained by police reveal it was Pofol who put it there.
All right, one shooter that we know of is in custody.
However, the woman also said, "I would have never suspected that Bruce would kill someone. Bruce never spoke about guns. Bruce never made any threats to harm anyone that I'm aware of." Police had been trying to contact Pofol prior to the shooting concerning the ongoing harassment, but at one point he fled to Minnesota, even though he continued to return and stalk his victim. Reporting in the Fox Valley, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.